Extra on 9 News Nigeria. My name is Grace Folari as always. On my last episode, I discussed what to do before you say I do. You know, I gave you tips on what you should do before you pop up that word, I do. You know, I told you should actually know your personality, master yourself, and a whole lot of things. But today, on this segment, I'll be talking about what to do after you've said I do. Statistics has it that in every 10 marriages, 6 is actually heading down the rocks in 6 months. I begin to wonder, we have a whole lot of institutions, a whole lot of counselors, and yet the divorce rate is still increasing in this part of the world. It's amazing. Now the question is, divorce is messy. There is no closure in divorce. You don't want to tell that part after you've gone through the wedding and all that. The marriage is reality.com for me. So I've put together some tips that will actually make your marriage spicy. Sit back, relax while I go on this short break. Relationship Extra will be right back. Thanks. Welcome back. It's still Relationship Extra on 9 News Nigeria. Like I said before, I have some tips put together that will help you make your relationship spicy. Communication, yes, that's the first one. For me, communication is key. You can't underestimate communication in a relationship. Come to think of it, if you go to a marriage counselor for advice, you communicate. So how come you want a third party to communicate for you when you can actually do that effectively in your marriage? Let down all the guards. Communicate. Talk about things you don't like. Talk about things you like. It helps to make the relationship grow. The second for me is gratitude. You know, it is estimated that men that cheat don't cheat actually because of sex. They cheat because they are not being appreciated in their marriages. This is for the ladies anyway. You know, it's always nice for you to say, thank you for marrying me. See, it's really not easy to put up with another person in marriage. Like when you were at home with your siblings, you guys used to fight. So imagine you being in marriage with a different person you just met over some years and you guys are trying to put things together. You know how it is. So it's always nice for you to say, thank you for marrying me, thank you for loving me, thank you for sticking with me all through the years. Thank you for being my wife. Thank you for having children for me. It goes a long way. Thirdly, for me, I would say make time for sexual activities. Now, a lot of couples don't have time for sex, and I don't know why. Like they say, married people with the license to drive don't drive. But single people that don't have the license to drive, they drive all the time. That's preposterous if you ask me. I would encourage married people to always have sex. It's good. Sex for me is worship. I see it as worship. And I guess that's how God sees it too. In as much as your schedule is very, very tight, you have to attend to work and all that, create time for sex. Sex bonds people together. And fourthly, for me, I would say, try and foster outside relationship. What I mean by that is, try and have time apart. You know, they say familiarity, like they say, breed contempt. So there are some times when you spend time a lot with your spouse and then you guys just get too familiar together that some things just fly and you don't know how to correct those things. So it's good to have a runaway, like sometimes spend time with friends, let your spouse miss you a little. You know what, let me want this short break. Sit back, relax. Relationship Extra will be right back. Welcome back. It's still Relationship Extra on 9 News Nigeria. My name is Grace Folari as always. Like I said earlier, couples with the license to drive don't drive. While singles with the license not to drive all the time, and that's why they crash, if you ask me. So always make time for sex in your relationship, no matter how busy you are. My fifth tip to make your relationship spicy is honesty. Trust me, honesty is very important. The question I ask couples most of the time is, how come you allow somebody you call a stranger to lick your honey pot and you cannot be honest with that person? It's a no-no. Honesty goes a long way. It also helps trust. Like a friend once said, that it is easy for a man to sleep with a woman without trusting her and not loving her. Well, it's actually easy, but I say you have to trust. Marriage is different. Marriage is not a relationship. It's not the regular kind of boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. It's marriage. A place where you get your certificate on your first day of resumption. When you said, I do, a lot of people there is actually waiting to see what you will do. You have to do something. So honesty is a yes for me in a relationship. You just have to put more energy into it. Don't hide the bills. Don't hide the tellers. Don't hide how much you spend. Don't hide your salary if you are on salaries. It's so wrong. Don't hide those things. Make sure your partner is in the know on how you spend money, on how much comes into your account. You know, it's just okay to have a joint account. If you ask me, I know a lot of couples don't like that. But truthfully, it is helpful in marriage. Now, to my 6th point. I like it when couples share chores together in the house. What I call this is helping out in the house chores. The house chores is not just for the woman alone. The husband is also supposed to participate. You know what my husband does most of the time? When I'm in the kitchen, he helps me wash the dishes. Sometimes he just stand there and gist with me. Very funny, right? But he's good at doing that. And I love it. I feel a sense of connection when we're together in the kitchen. Sometimes he will just tell me, sit back and while I cook. Well, a lot of women also like to hear a man tell them, don't worry, let me fix dinner. Sweetheart, rest while I fix lunch. It's sexy if you ask me. So make time to help your spouse out, take out the dirt, wash the dishes, do the laundry. It goes a long way. And ladies, this is also for you too. While he helps you out, don't think it's his duty. Show gratitude. It goes a long way. On my 7th point is trust. Some people will say trust is like honesty. Yes, I'll say that too. But trust is when you actually accommodate the other person totally. You trust that person. It's so difficult to trust people today because a lot of couples snitch on each other. Yes, we see that all the time. If a wife is reporting her husband to the mother, that's snitching. And she doesn't trust her husband. So for me, I'll advise that you should build trust. It happens over time, but now you've decided to live together forever. So trust should be like a center stage in your marriage. Do it with all honesty, like I'll say again. And on my 8th point, I will advise couple not to ever quarrel in front of their kids. It's a no-no. You don't want your kids growing up and having traumatizing experience of having their parents fight in front of each other. A lot of children today in school, there was a particular time, a friend of mine had a quarrel with her husband to the point that the husband was actually beating her and the son saw them. The son went to school the next day and the first thing he told his teacher was, come and say, my dad actually beat my mom yesterday. You don't want your children doing that. So please, 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 in order to have a very good relationship with your spouse, don't quarrel in front of your children. Please. Sit back, relax, while I'll go for my last break. When I get back, we'll be wrapping up on Relationship Extra. Thank you. Welcome back. If you're just joining in, this is Relationship Extra on 9 News Nigeria. So to round off all my points, I would say prayer is the master key. It's good to pray together. Like they always say, a family that prays together stays together. If you're a Muslim, a Christian, Hindu, whatever, it's always good to pray together. At least we all believe in one God, like we say. So prayer is the key. Always pray for your spouse. Watch the word you say in front of your children. Watch the word you say. Word is very powerful. Say positive word around your marriage. Don't take your marriage to a third party. No. Settle every differences in your marriage with your spouse. Create time to run away together, those things you enjoy doing. when you were courting, still do them in your marriage. You know, aside sleeping outside, or telling your husband or telling your wife, I won't be home today, I'm sleeping over in a friend's place. You know you can do that in marriage. But those other things, visit places, have good time together. It's healthy for a marriage. And I've come to the end of this show for today. Hope to see you next time. Watch our previous episode on Relationship Extra. Visit 9newsng.com. Thank you for staying with me.